Hello, everyone. I'm Phoenix Tremayne, and today we're going to be talking about Days of Our Lives, E.J. Demir. We're going to be discussing an interview he did with Daytime Confidential, where he gave clues to who his next love interest could be. And I've picked out of the cast 6 women that could potentially be his love interest, and we're going to just go down the line until we get to who's most likely his love interest. But first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Hit that like button so YouTube sends more people our way. And we have a membership where you get early access to videos, exclusive videos. You get cooking recipes. You get a lot in a membership. So give it a try for at least 1 month to see if you like it. And some people said they don't know where the join button is, but there should be a join button on your screen. If you don't see it, just go to the description box where there's a link that'll take you to the join section. So now we're going to get into it. We're going to get into this interview that Dan Ferrigno did with Daytime Confidential, where he said that EJ is going to basically get darker and just nastier, meaner. But I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said, "You'll definitely see a darker side. The extent of the darkness depends on what you regard as dark and remains to be seen. He definitely is very hurt, and whatever comes out of that is the darkness. Everything coming out of him after that is based on the hurt. So he will be antagonistic in this direction, antagonistic in that direction. He'll be controlling like this and controlling like that. He'll be trying to do all these sorts of stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And based on spoilers, he's going to be constantly butting heads with Chad. He's even going to try to get Johnny Demir to be in Demir, but Chad may not be too keen on the idea of Johnny joining Demir Enterprises." And then he previewed that he does find comfort in another person, in another girl. It initially starts off as, let's just use this to kind of move on from things. But over time, it starts to develop. And it's still ongoing at the moment because they're still filming. "I don't know where they're taking it. The person brings out honesty in EJ. She can see why he's doing the things that he's doing and kind of forces him to be honest about it." When there's a suggestion from Daytime Confidential that maybe he's talking about Abigail, played by Marcy Miller, the actor said, "You don't know? Quite possibly. There are a lot of people living in the house. The relationship develops because this person's able to pull EJ out of his BS, shall we say. That forces him to open up and be honest, and things strengthen from there. But nothing has gone forward all the way yet. So they haven't had an affair. They're still writing it. It could take a complete turn in this direction or that direction." So that usually means they're just feeling it out, feeling the storyline out, feeling the chemistry. Do the actors have chemistry? Is this something that the fans are going to want to see? Because sometimes what's on paper, once it's filmed, you realize maybe it's going in a different direction. So right now, they're trying things out, and I read that they're almost finished the Christmas episodes, and so they are going to go dark for 2 weeks, and then when they come back, they'll probably be getting ready for like the New Year's episodes. Thankfully, they're so far ahead. So now we're going to go on ahead and talk about what I feel is the 6 most likely women that could be EJ's new love interest. And in the comment section, I just want you to let me know who you think EJ should end up with. And I'm going to start with what I feel is, out of these 6 women, the least likely person to end up being EJ's love interest. And then I'll end with the person who's most likely going to be EJ's new love interest. So least likely begins with Kate. So I feel like Kate's single. She's constantly dating and marrying Demirs. I still feel like Tony is really Andre, or Tony and Andre are both alive or something. I kind of get the feeling that Kate's going to end up with Andre again. But in the meantime, it could be interesting for Kate to try to do something with EJ. She's definitely a woman who calls men out on their ish. However, she just came out of a sort of young romance type situation with Jake, and I don't see them putting her immediately with another young guy. So we can say most likely Kate's not the one. And then I'm going to move on to the second least likely person who EJ can end up with. That's Chloe. And the reason why Chloe is a person who I would say is least likely to be a love interest for EJ is because she's already in a love triangle with Brady and Philip. And Kristen is on her way back if things play out the way I think they will. Kristen's going to show back up, which means Chloe will be too busy fighting Kristen over Brady to be worrying about EJ. Next, the third person who's least likely, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Belle. I know there's a lot of Sean and Belle fans, and they just got married, and she's one of the people that when she had scenes with the actor playing EJ, they had great chemistry together. I could see a whole lot of conflict with Belle having another affair on Sean, and she's a lawyer. She definitely can call EJ out on his stuff, and most couples, no matter how badly you want them to be happy and stay together, and no soap opera couple lives happily ever after during the show. They always has conflict, problems, drama, all that stuff. And Sammy versus Belle could be real interesting. So for Sammy to come back home after being kidnapped and realize her own sister might be sleeping with her husband, that's what soap operas were made for. They weren't made for everybody to be nice and happy. It's for conflict and drama with moments of happiness. So those are the three that I feel are least likely. Now we're going to move on to the top three women who will most likely be EJ Demere's new love interest. The first person to be the most likely is going to be, let me say it like this. The third most likely person to be EJ Demere's new love interest would be Gabby. After EJ got rid of Jake and from Demere and all those different things, that's Gabby's house. When he said in his interview there's a lot of people in the house, just because Gabby and Jake moved out the house, it don't mean they won't move back in, because they're driving Rafe and Ava crazy living in that little house with them. So especially when all these people are like millionaires and whatnot, whatever. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Gabby and Jake move back in the mansion as sort of a power move. And if somebody's going to call EJ out on his stuff, Gabby definitely can call EJ out. Also, Jake and Gabby, now that they don't have Kate, they need another situation where they'll have some conflict and drama in their relationship to keep them on front burner status on the show. Right now, it's Gabby and Jake versus Philip. Philip could easily become a love triangle with them, or it could just be about them trying to get her business from Philip and pushing Philip out. So we're going to move on to the second most likely person to be EJ's new love interest, and that would be, and I know a lot of people hate this, but she easily could have been number one. But the second most likely is Nicole. There's already people saying, oh no, I don't want E. Cole or EJ Cole or whatever they nickname they're trying to come up with. And what better revenge on Sammy would be than for Nicole and EJ to end up together. Sammy would lose her ever-loving mind. She would hate Nicole more than she's ever hated her before, and they fight all the time. Also, if EJ wants revenge on Sammy, the worst person he could choose to start something up with is Nicole, who's no longer with Eric. I know technically they're not divorced yet, but they ended that relationship. Nicole is now single, and that's why she's all up on Rafe. So Nicole is someone who already has an antagonistic relationship with EJ. Nicole isn't afraid to tell EJ about himself. So, yeah, there's definitely room for EJ and Nicole to have a fiery relationship, and a lot less boring than her relationship with Eric. Now, her relationship with Eric was boring because it was written that way, but I don't think they would write any kind of boring relationship if her love interest was EJ. So they would definitely be that typical soap opera couple that hates each other before they love each other type situation. So right now, Nicole is in a love triangle with Ava and Rafe. But I feel like Nicole and Rafe are boring, so I would love for her to go after EJ as long as he's not that mean to her. You know what I'm saying? I really hated the confrontational dialogue he had with Nicole. But I feel like he would sort of loosen up around her, seeing that she's the only one who told him the truth. And now we get to the top number one. You know who it is. They done it before. The number one most likely person to be EJ's new love interest, Abigail. Abigail, played by Marcy Miller, is much more aggressive than when Kate played her. So Marcy Miller has a very aggressive approach. So, and I'm saying that aggressiveness because she would definitely call EJ out on his stuff. Also, in the hint of who his love interest could possibly be, says that she understands him. She understands his hurt. And of course, Abigail, who has felt betrayed by Chad over and over again, it currently not on the show right now because of her maternity leave, but storyline-wise, she's mad at Chad again. So while she goes to try to give her marriage another chance, I think that there's a good chance that her and EJ may get a little too close for comfort. And since EJ and Chad are co-CEOs at Demir, they've already started storylines, according to the spoilers, where EJ and Chad are going to be butting heads over decisions at Demir. Plus, they all live in a mansion. And Abigail living in a mansion, close quarters with new EJ. Chad's already jealous about Abigail and EJ from the past, even though he wasn't even with her when it happened. So, yeah. And then that's also can be a bee in Sammy's bonnet because EJ cheated on her with Abigail back in the day. When I first started watching, that was actually the storyline that was going on. Abigail was cheating on, EJ was cheating on Sammy with Abigail. That was my first introduction to Days of Our Lives. So those are the top 6 women that I feel like could potentially be a love interest for EJ. Now I want to know in the comment section who you think, 2 things, who do you think will turn out to be EJ's next love interest? And the second part of the question is, who do you hope will be EJ's new love interest? Even if it's not one of these 6 characters, who they got to put him with somebody. So do you want him back with Sammy? Who would you like EJ to be back together, be together with, new EJ to get together with on Days of Our Lives? And I will see you in the next video and in the comment section to see your answers.